You guys have all seen the race. You may even remember where you were the first time you saw it. His Olympic moment is one of the most memorable in the history of sport. Here to tell us his amazing story, guys, of passion and persistence, please welcome Australia's first Winter Olympic gold medalist, Stephen Bradbury.
I like to kick things off with the DVD. Otherwise I walk in and people think I know this guy from somewhere. Was he our big brother? I've been mistaken for heaps of people over the years. Shane Hill basketballer, Ryan Bailey cyclist, Michael Diamond shooter, Joe Hasham poker player, Dave Hughes comedian, Shannon Knoll. Things aren't going so well for him recently, are they? I've been mistaken for the lead singer of Green Day in Linkin Park. And once a very elderly lady thought I was Billy Idol. And that was the day I stopped dyeing my hair blonde. I'm never doing that again, just in case somebody thinks I'm Jason Ackermanis. Those three words up there, front page of every newspaper in the world, the day after I won the gold. Most of you guys were sitting at home watching that race on the TV thinking, you lucky bastard. How did I become the last man standing? Was it just a flick? Maybe there was a little bit of strategy. Might have been a bit of a plan, because you've got to have a plan. And there might have even been a little bit of hard work that was thrown in there somewhere along the way too. G'day builders, how are we all going? Going well? Yeah, about 6 here. The rest of you are a little unresponsive so far, but we'll get there. Thanks very much to Kurt for the introduction. I used to get invited to Hugh Hefner's place, the Logies, the Espies, one of the Jay Leno show. Now I'm fucking here. Builder's coach. Yeah, things are going fantastic for Steve Bradbury. No, it is a pleasure to be here. My wife and I had 3 kids under the age of 2. It's a pleasure to be anywhere. Who else has got kids? Yeah? Best day of your life when they're born. Day after that? Next day's not as good, is it? Everything's changed. Your social life's changed. Your bank account's changed. Doesn't always go down in Australia though. Baby bonus. There's my kids. Sony, Plasma and little Jack Daniels. They changed the amount of sport that you get to watch on the TV. Before I had kids, in between my morning and afternoon training sessions for speed skating, I'm watching Test match cricket for 5 days. The only cricket I get to watch these days is when the Wiggles play. Started pissing me off after a while though. Sam, the yellow Wiggle, he's always batting. Never gets out, keeps getting hit plumb in front, he's gone, LB. Doesn't get out, Jeff's the umpire. Thank you. My wife actually sat me down on the couch just before the twins were born. She sat me down. She looked me straight in the eyes and she said, Steve, we have to talk. That's never a good sign, is it? When your missus says that. Especially when she's a detective sergeant in the police. I know you blokes are all thinking, you dickhead. Can't get away with anything. Yeah, so anyway, Amanda sits me down. And she says we need to talk. And I'm scared. Because I'm thinking she's found that little bag of cash that I got stashed away. Builders don't do any cashies, do they? No one here's ever done a cashie. I'm thinking she's found it. She looks me in the eyes and she says, Steve, we need to get a bigger car. This is right before the twins were born. I breathed a huge sigh of relief because she hadn't found the cash. I thought, this is all right. We'll get a station wagon and put some big mags on it. Or we'll get ourselves a tough-looking 4-wheel drive. And then she says it to me, the word that no man should ever have to hear. Minivan. I said, no way. A people mover. You seen the blokes out in the street who drive themselves around in a people mover? They might as well have under the thumb tattooed across their forehead. She explains it to me. We're just about to have 3 children and they all needed car seat. You can't really squash 3 kids' car seats in the back. You've got to have another row to put the 3rd seat. I'm dying to argue with her, but I can't because it makes sense. She says, I want to get a Kia Carnival. I got steam coming out of my ears now. No way, we're not spending my money. It's not ours anymore, mine. And we're not spending it on a Kia. They're made in Korea. I couldn't beat those fast little pricks on the ice most of the time. So who wants to guess what kind of car we got? This is not what you guys expected so far, is it? No? No, you don't really care? Anyone sitting there thinking, I thought he might talk about the Olympics. Dickhead thinks he's a stand-up comedian now. Well, I don't attest to being a comedian, but I'm pretty good at standing up. Did you guys know that I was the guest speaker? That was on the program? Yeah? Did everybody show? Yeah, looks like it. I bet there's a few of you and you're thinking this will be interesting. Steve Bradbury, what's he going to talk about? I mean, here's 4.5 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. Yeah, that's right, I'm speaking for 4.5 hours. I mean, a bunch of blokes fell over and he got a gold medal. That's it. Well, I know that you guys will be surprised when you hear a little bit about my Olympic story today, and I'm pretty confident that you might be a little bit inspired too, and maybe when you walk out you might take that little bit of inspiration with you and try to use it to further yourself along your own journey towards success within your building company. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that word success. In my skating career, through the majority of it, that is what I thought success was, Olympic gold. When I won it, that's not what I thought success was anymore. I'm going to try and explain what I mean by that a bit later. Anybody here seen one of those for real before? Olympic gold? What do you reckon? Want to have a look? What about the rest of you? Do the rest of you want to have a look too? There it is. What's your name? Matty. You don't look that trustworthy to me, mate. I'll work on that though. You guys think success has got to do with not giving up? That's simple, isn't it? You think it's got to do with steady progress towards your goals? And you've got to have goals. You've got to have a plan. It's got to be written down. Who here has got staff? Who's got staff? Tell me if this is true. Most people forget 95% of everything they hear within 2 weeks. Is that true of most of your staff? If you don't write it down. You've got to have a plan, systemised every little thing, the short, the medium, the long-term goals, and all those little things in between. That's a to-do list, not optional. And if you think that being really good at your particular role or roles within your business has sometimes got to do with being in the right place at the right time, because you're showing up every single day with this thing here on positive. Because that negative shit breeds like wildfire, doesn't it? Gets you nowhere. Positive mindset is where elite level anything starts. And there's a little spot in the back of your brain. It's called the RAS. If you feed it negative, it thinks you want more. If you feed it positive, it thinks you want more. And that'll get through to your staff. Eventually, positive takes a bit longer to breed, but it'll breed. You think a few of those things, and we got stuff in common. I started speed skating when I was 8. Used to watch my dad. He was the national champ back in his day in the sport. I saw the passion that he had for it, and I thought to myself, I want to do this. The first time that I skated, I got wet, I got cold, and I bawled my eyes out. My mum took photos that day. When someone visits my mum, even today, guess which photo she shows them? I started speed skating, that's on the longer blades, when I was 8. Ice skating, first time, that's it there with my dad. I couldn't do it. And my dad tells me that I didn't skate again after that for 3 years because I was traumatised. But eventually, I started going back. I wanted to share what he was doing. So I had a few goes and I started to get a bit of a feeling about it, make my way across the ice. And I love the speed because I've always loved stuff that goes fast. Who likes stuff that goes fast? Adrenaline. I love that stuff. I'm getting a bit of it right now talking to you lot. And Kurt's paying me for this. As we get older, we get responsibilities, we have kids, we've got to get insurance for shit. Does that adrenaline slowly get ripped out of you? Does it? You're not as fearless as you were when you were younger? This bloke's saying no, I like that. He's still got some adrenaline. But most of us, as we get older, we get responsibilities. That fear starts to creep in, doesn't it? Not as fearless as you used to be when you were younger. The adrenaline goes away a bit. But that adrenaline's still there. It's still there at work too. It's just lurking under the surface every day. And if all you do is scratch, clock on at 9, go home at 5, whatever your hours are, you don't get any adrenaline. You got to dig. You got to crack that top layer and do some of the things that I call the 1%ers, the difference makers. And I'll bet you that you've written down some of those at this event already. The question is, will you put them into practice when you go home? The 1%ers. You might have already had those good ideas in your head for a long time before you came here, but you keep putting them off until tomorrow. You put a few of those 1%ers into practice, you get some adrenaline rolling around inside your stomach. Is the building industry competitive? There's a shitload of builders out there. The only thing you've got to separate yourself from your competition are the 1%ers. And customers love them. Once you stack a few on top of each other, get some adrenaline in your guts, doesn't feel like work so much anymore. Takes a while to get it though. That's my dad up there with me, John Bradbury. He was pretty quiet. When I was a kid moving through the age divisions in speed skating, I broke the national records. Think about this. I won the under 13 national speed skating championships when I was 10 years old. The kid who got the bronze medal also finished last. Popular sport in Australia. My daddy didn't push me. Not until I was 13 anyway. The day after I'm 13, he's dragging me out of bed every morning before he goes to work and I've got to go running with him and I hate it. On the weekends, I'm on the bicycle kilometre after kilometre. I hate that too. I don't get it. I can't see a point. The skating, no problem. Every time I skate, I'm getting a little bit faster and I love it. Put all these miles out on the road. Just hurts. My dad did that because he was thinking my son's pretty talented, he might have a future here. He can see something in me that I can't see yet. And I'll bet there's a few of you guys thinking, I know somebody like that. Pretty good, pretty talented at what they're trying to do, but can't see it yet for the big picture. That person could be someone you work with, one of your kids. Could be you. If you're thinking of somebody, don't give up on them. Because there's different stages in everybody's life where we all benefit from somebody else coming along, kicking us up the butt. I'll be that bloke for you today. I hated my dad for what he did to me. When I was 13, 14, 15 years of age, I hated him for it. Who thinks I'll thank him for it now? 100%. Growing up in the Bradbury house, pretty strict. My younger brother Warren and myself, we didn't get away with much when we were kids. We tried. We were always seeing what sort of mischief we could get ourselves into. And if it was just mum around like that day, we can push the boundaries a little bit. No way we're doing that if Dad's there. He put the fear of God into us. I was 10, my brother was 7. We both found a good-sized magnet. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this before. If you get a magnet, put it on the TV. Anyone know what that does? Magnet on the TV. Makes a purple sort of rainbow coloured section on the screen. Me and my brother, we're having a fantastic time. We're running this magnet around the TV set, changing people's heads on the screen into a purple dot. What we didn't realise, if you hold the magnet in the same spot for too long, the purple dot stays on the TV. And if you know my dad, when he comes in from work, he's sitting down in front of the TV to relax. Me and my brother, we're shitting ourselves. We're thinking about packing up our stuff and moving out. But we're not old enough yet. We don't have a choice. We switched the television off. We wouldn't go near it again. We're not touching it. No way. We sat down on the couch and waited. Only a few minutes until Dad was due in. He was right on time. He walked in the front door. He looked at me and my brother sitting there on the lounge in front of the TV, with the TV switched off. Eventually he turned around again, switched the TV back on, and the purple dot had disappeared. Now, I'm not a religious man, but I'm pretty certain that that was the first time in my life when all my prayers were answered. Many years after that, I won the Southern Hemisphere's first Winter Olympic gold medal. Maybe that was another time all my prayers were answered. I represented Australia in the Winter Olympics 4 times. I was ranked inside the top 10 speed skaters in the world for over a decade, and then I became an overnight success. Mum and Dad went to watch me race at the final Olympics that I skated in Salt Lake City. They saved up for a year and a half to afford to get there. They did it because they love their kids and support them. I did it because I love the sport. I love the competition. As I said before, I love the speed. And like every single person who's sitting here today, I love to win. Does it feel good when you win? It feels good. If you're going to get that win in your business, then you've got to have a bit of passion for it. You've got to want it. If you're just walking around the office or the job site like a bit of a zombie, with your brain only switched half on because you've been at McDonald's all week and you feel like crap, or you're hungover a little bit too often. There's sometimes things. I used to have a sign on the ceiling in my bedroom. It read, "This is the Olympics. Get up." That's the first thing I see every morning at 4:30 when my alarm's going off. And I'm in Brisbane. I can see it. It's light at 4:30. We don't have daylight savings. I call that a visual trigger. Switch my mind on straight away every day. My mind's got to be on. It's got to be on positive. You might want to use visual triggers yourself. They're a good idea. I knew my competition on the other side of the world. I knew they were getting up. And if I didn't and I lose to them, I've got to live with that regret. And that word sucks. Question for all you guys to take with you. Are you getting up? If you are, positive. Makes the day go quicker. Makes you more money too. Would you guys agree that at certain points in our lives, we all feel like we're a bit isolated and other people just don't give a shit about us? Sometimes. Try being a speed skater from Brisbane. There has to be difficult times on your journey towards success. That's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it a journey. If it was easy all the way to be good at anything, who'd be doing it? As a speed skater, I used to train 12 sessions a week. Oh, did anyone notice I'm wearing my Olympic team jacket? Yeah? I didn't wear this jacket for 14 years. I used to feel like if you're wearing your Olympic team gear and you're not at the Olympics, you're a wanker. Until I ran into Laurie Lawrence. Who remembers Laurie? Yeah, famous Olympic team swim coach. He's at the supermarket doing his groceries in his Olympic team jacket. And I was like, Laurie, come on, mate, you're in your 70s. If you can wear yours doing your groceries, I'm dusting mine off. I won't need it for this bit. Yeah, so I used to train 12 sessions a week. 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the afternoon. 6 days a week with Sundays off. Each time in the pre-season on the bicycle, about 400 k's a week, a lot of it up mountains. Endurance, pushing weights in the gym. Strength. I used to be able to squat 250 kilograms. Heaps of time in a place that I used to call the Big Fridge. The ice rink in the western suburbs of Brisbane, Acacia Ridge. Anyone else here lived in Acacia Ridge before? Anyone? Got one unlucky bloke here? Yeah, Acacia Ridge makes Blacktown look pretty good. I spent thousands of hours in ice world at Acacia Ridge, sprint work, endurance work and technical work. The only other person in Australia who spent almost as much time on the ice as me, being cousins. Now that's just a joke, people. Just a joke. It didn't go as well the first time I used it at the West Coast Eagles season launch breakfast. Doesn't political correctness go too far these days? You remember back in the day when you could take the piss out of somebody and it was just a joke? Oh, God, I hope it turns when we get back to that point. I asked Tom Waterhouse if his mum was gay. It's funny for me. I said before that I love the competition. I've always been competitive. I don't like to lose at anything. If I was playing Monopoly with my brother when we were kids, if he was winning, I'll cheat. Who had that sort of mindset when they were a kid? Cheat to win. Yeah? You're supposed to grow out of that, aren't you? It took Lance Armstrong a bit longer. And the entire Russian Olympic team. Where's Cam Wilkie? Where's Cam? There he is. Be with me, thanks, buddy. Neil Coulter, Jeff Waters, Michael Carl, Brett Tapscott, Jake Brady. What was your name again, mate? Matty. Round of applause for our volunteers. How you going, boys? Nice to meet you. Cheers, mate. Okay. These guys are going to have a go at an exercise that I used to do as part of my speed skating training. You should feel how excited they all are. I'll give you guys a demo before we do this. Don't do it yet. It's pretty simple. Basically, you put your elbows under your knees, put your hands behind your back, and keep your head up. Exercise is called a static. Guess why? Because you don't move. You keep your leg angle in here at 90 degrees. Anybody can stand there like that for ages. You've got to remain in the 90 degree squat. Every 20 seconds or so, you jump and fall straight back to that 90 degrees. Now, do any of you boys have any legitimate problems with your knees? Any recent knee reconstructions? Huh? They all look fit to me. What do you think? Well, you guys take a big step forward for me. And we're into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Elbows on your knees. Hands behind your back. And keep your head up. Who knows what lactic acid is? I know what lactic acid is. That's why I'm not doing this anymore. Now I've got a prize for the winner here, boys. So stick this out and we'll see who's the last one standing here in a minute or two. Jeff, just bring your bum up just a little bit. Get your heels on the floor. There you go. There's your 90 degrees. What's your name, mate?
Jake.
Jake. Keep your head up there, mate. That's it. You look well practiced in that position. Just as well Thorpe's not the guest speaker. That's just a joke too, people. I voted yes, don't worry. When we do the jump, don't try to hit the roof. Just do a little jump so you can balance. 3, 2, 1, jump, and straight back into the 90 degrees. Thanks for having a go, Michael. You get bored in your lunch break one day, give this a go. You'll be surprised how quick the lactic acid builds up. Am I right there, Matt? Lactic acid starting to build up. You've got to hold that 90 degrees, boys. Bums are starting to creep up. Back down into that 90 degrees. 3, 2, 1, jump. Straight back into that 90. Cam, you haven't got much weight to hold up there on those legs of yours. Looking pretty fit there, mate. Good job. Thanks for having a go, buddy. Appreciate the effort. You want the prize at the end here, boys. You've got to earn it. Keep your head up. 3, 2, 1, jump. Straight back into the 90 degrees. Now you've got to hold the 90 degrees, everyone. Drop those bums down a little bit. Keep your head up there, Cam. Oh, we've got a competitive bunch here. This is good to see. Jeff's pretty focused there, second from the end. Cam's had enough. Appreciate the effort there, Cam. You might want to associate the pain these four are going through to something that's happening in your world that feels like it's too hard and you don't want to do it anymore. That's usually called business development. Have a rest, boys. We've got 4 winners. Round of applause for our volunteers. I had some painful days in my skating career. The most painful part of it was the last 2 years, the last bit in the lead up to winning the gold. I was showing up for training twice a day, every day, and I was starting to ask myself a question. What the hell am I still doing here? By this point, I'd already competed in the Winter Olympics 3 times. In Lillehammer in Norway. This is 8 years before I got the gold medal. I was ranked number 1 in the world in the 1,000 metres. I'm the favourite for the gold. First round in the heat, skated from Belgium. Before the speed's even picked up, he rolls up the inside of me, falls over in front of me and takes my legs out. I'm pretty sure he did it on purpose. He got disqualified, but I was left sitting there on the ice thinking, this is bullshit. Fortunately for me, in that same Olympics, in Lillehammer in Norway, I was also on the 5,000 metres relay team. Myself and those other 3 skaters up there, we got bronzes, Australia's first Winter Olympic medal. And Maddie, you're trustworthy enough to see the bronze. Can pass it around too. Winning that helped me put a lot of the disappointments of being knocked down in the 1,000 metre event to the back of my head. 4 years later, I'm back in Nagano, Japan. A lot of training sessions in 4 years. I'm not favourite this time, but I'm ranked 5th in the world. I've got a reasonable chance to be standing somewhere on that podium. 2 days before the Olympic race in Japan, I got the worst case of food poisoning that I'd ever had. I skated, but I'd been throwing my cuts out for 2 days. Didn't even feel like my legs were in Japan. I don't know where I finished, I didn't look. Heading into the 4th Olympics that I raced, when I was questioning why am I still showing up for training every day, twice a day. That wasn't the real question. The real question, if I make it to Salt Lake City next Olympics, I'm talking 2 years ahead. If I make it there, do I have a realistic chance to win? That's the question. Because my whole life I've been aiming for a gold medal. And I'm a bit biased when I think about me. Sometimes I think I'm a bit better than what I actually am. A lot of us think that sometimes that way, especially blokes in the bedroom. But even when I took that bit of bias into account, when I honestly asked myself that question, 2 years ahead in Salt Lake City, can I win? No. Too old. Past it. So why am I bothering? 12 sessions a week, 5 hours a day. I've got 3 Olympic team tracksuits already. I don't need another tracksuit. Defining moment happened in September in the year 2000. I'm training inside the big fridge. This is 20 months before I got the gold medal. I'm training inside the big fridge at Acacia Ridge, head first into the barrier at a trainer crash and break my neck. Fractured the C4, C5 and C6. Who's seen somebody wearing one of those before? A halo brace. Pretty much resembled a human building site. 4 pins screwed into your skull. I got some pretty funny looks when I was driving my car. At least I thought I did. Because when you're sitting in the car seat with your seatbelt on and you got one of those things screwed into your head, You can't move from the waist up. I'm sitting there stopped at the traffic lights. I knew the guy in the lane next to me was looking at me, but I couldn't see him. I had 2.5 months wearing that, and I had that whole time to think about big picture. And can anybody here honestly tell me that they take enough time outside of their daily routine to work on their business instead of in it? The fact that you're here in this room is a massive step in the right direction. You might want to diarise that. Maybe every fortnight you put aside a few hours to work on your business instead of in it all the time, because you don't need to be stuck doing the $20 an hour jobs that you can pay somebody else to do, even though they feel good and you're good at it. You've got to think big picture. I had 2.5 months here. I thought a lot about big picture. Nothing else to do. And sometimes it takes something impactful in our lives to force us outside of our comfort zone, doesn't it? But it's better if you prepare earlier. Way better. Big picture said to me, when they take this thing off your head, you've only got 18 months to go until the next Olympic Games. 18 months of hard work. Not that much. You don't do it, kick yourself for the rest of your life. That's what the big picture tells me. The doctor who screwed that thing into my head, he told me I'd never skate again. I just went to another doctor. In my head, I had no choice. I had to do it. Up to here, it had always been about the gold medal. The outcome. Whatever your goals are, you don't focus on the outcome. You've got to have your goal, what you want to get at the end. But it's the process, doing those 1%ers every day, working together as a team, and having a positive mindset. Put yourself in position, because you worked hard for a long time, you did everything right, you put yourself in position to make $1 million and win a gold medal. If you get it, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Because along the way, you got a whole shitload of personal satisfaction. That stuff feels bloody good. You can't fake it. I set a new goal here. I'm going to that next Olympics. But when I get there, I don't care where I finish. I just want to do my best. The whole bloody world's watching me once every 4 years. I'm going to do it then. I haven't done it in the first 3 Olympics. And that's all anyone can ask of any of us, isn't it? To do our best every day. That was the new goal. Simple. And that's what brought me back to the sport after my neck had healed. With a new heart and a new motivation. Who's read the book by Bryce Courtney, The Power of One? Anyone read that book? Unfortunately for me, that's the first book I ever finished. My dad took me skating all the time. Fortunately though, I've finished a stack more books now and I've written one too. But you don't need to have read that book, The Power of One, to know who the one in your life the power is. Part of my journey as a speed skater was costing me more money than I even had, and taken up to a year to get my new speed skating boots from the other side of the world. A friend of mine named Clint.
He was a speed skater too. Clint and myself, we both knew a fair bit about how to make a custom moulded carbon fibre speed skating boot. We got sick of waiting too long and paying too much to get them from the States. So in the end, we pulled our resources, we pulled our knowledge, and we said, stuff it, let's make our own. About a year later, I started skating on my own boots. And straight away, other skaters started coming up to me and they said, "Hey Steve, those look all right. Can I buy a pair of your boots off you?" I said, "Okay." We started our own business. Another 5 years later, at the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics, skaters on our boots, 3 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. In fact, we had 20% of the field skating on our boots. Heading into those Olympics, I expected to win medals for the business. I didn't expect to be the guy winning. Pre-race favourite, American, Apollo owner. He's on a pair of boots that Clint and myself made him. In fact, by this point, we sponsored the guy. Knowing he was one of the big contenders to win, I sent him an email. It read, "Hey Apollo, if you win tomorrow night, can you try and mention the RBC Revolutionary Boot Company and give us a plug?" As it turned out, I didn't need to send the email. The RBC boots got the gold medal, but there's a sweetener in that deal. When it comes to your life, your business, your job, there might be a lesson there. If you're having a few doubts, if you're not 100% sure what your next move is that the time to give up? What are you going to do? You're going to start something else from scratch that you don't know anything about? Unlikely. That's the time when you believe in yourself. When you move with today's fast-paced, changing internet world, you start to learn about shit like SEO, and that's what that stands for. Anyway, search engine optimization. I didn't know about it until a couple of years ago either. Website stuff. Top half of this, that's one of the boots I won the gold on. We sold our business at RBC to a manufacturer in China in 2012. Who's heard of someone selling their business to China? By this point, we were exporting custom cycling shoes to about 29 countries. And we won 20-something Olympic medals on our products. Hard work was involved with it. The same as it is with any business. But it's not the only part. I think there's another important ingredient to succeed.
And this part of it, not everyone gets a look at it. Because to get to this part, you have to have already invested a lot of work, a lot of preparation, and put yourself in position where you can take a calculated risk. Might be when you buy your first house, or build your first house. You want to do it here in Sydney, you've probably got to get a bit more money out from the bank than you're really comfortable doing. But if you never put yourself in that position in your whole life, or maybe when you take on a bigger project than you've ever taken on before, you never take those calculated risks. You're in the comfort zone all the time. Then eventually you'll be getting stuck in a rut that you don't get out of. I was racing at a World Cup competition in Montreal in Canada, leading the 1500 metres final on the last lap. I'm just about to get the gold medal in this event. I'm the skater wearing the bright green skin suit leading the race. This is an occasion where taking a calculated risk with this race strategy did not pay off at all.
C'est spécial. Donc, le bâtiment militaire australien Steven Bradbury est rentré dans
Watch the top right corner of the screen for the blood. Top right corner. There it goes.
I lost almost 4 litres of blood and I was almost passing out through the pain, but somehow I was just telling myself to keep my eyes open and stay awake through this because maybe I won't wake up again afterwards.
Yeah, so this is one of the boots I made myself. As you can see on that footage, I had a crash with 2 other guys. The guy on the outside trying to go by, he didn't make it. He wound up down on one knee like that. As you saw on the footage, I did sort of a sideways flip. And when I came down doing 50 kilometres an hour, I landed square on the back of his blade. His blade went into my leg through there, pushed on an angle, came out the other side, and ripped straight back out. Person of my size, I have 5.5 litres of blood. These days, maybe 6. 5.5 litres. 60 seconds after that crash, I had 4 of those 5.5 litres spilled over the ice. I could feel my whole body going into shock and my eyes closing. I remember it every second. I said to myself, you lose consciousness, you die. And I have to tell you guys, it's amazing the amount of power that a human any human could find when they're put into life and death. If I could have drawn on that sort of power every single day in my training, I would never have lost anyone. And I tried to use that as a positive, because I'm always on positive. When I came back to the sport, after my leg had healed, if I was having a tough day in training, had some of that lactic acid building up in my legs that Kim's still got in his now, I'd try and think back to when I was lying on the ice in Canada with 3/4 of my own blood spilled around me. Bad day in training, went away pretty quick. The doctor from the Canadian speed skating team, he jumped the barrier and he stuck his thumb and forefinger inside my leg and grabbed hold of the femoral vein to try and stop the bleeding. Then they got a tourniquet up my leg, cranked it as tight as they could, pumped me full of plasma and stopped the bleeding. Who else likes their heavy metal? Anyone? Few people? I don't care. Love that shit. Speakers in here have seen better days, haven't they? I was on the stretcher in the back of the ambulance. I don't know how fast it left the skating rink, but I'm certain that it went over 4 speed bumps on the way out.
What doesn't kill you makes you strong.
So I lived out of hospital 3 weeks later after they'd taken the 131 stitches out of my leg. And I was thinking one thing, when am I skating? Not if. Unfinished business. I raced the World Championships 4 months later. I had 64% of the strength back into my right leg and I came 12th in the world. I'll never forget it. I can't. Because I went back to the World Championships the next time with 100% strength in my leg. 13th. Doesn't always work out how you plan it to, does it? I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about my journey to making the final that many of you remember seeing on the TV. Making the Olympic team is a big job. And trying to get into the team, it feels like someone keeps moving the goalposts. So when I knew my name was in the program for Salt Lake City, that's a big relief. Speed skating, 32 skaters, 4 guys in each race. That's 8 opening round heats. Finish first or second. Skate your way through the next round. I skated my heats first round. It wasn't the best race that I ever skated, but I skated pretty good in the heats. I won it. First in the heats, that means I'm moving through to the quarters. Final 16. Quarters. I'm sitting in the change rooms. Draw comes out for the quarters. I got the hardest one. It's got Cam Wilkie, Neil Coulter. No, it doesn't. It's got pre-race favourite on the RBC boots that I made him, Apollo Ono. 4-time world champion from Canada, Mark Gagnon. And current number 4 in World Cup from Japan, Satoru Terao. Out of the 4 quarterfinals, mine is stacked. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make the semis here. Racing in my 4th Winter Olympics. After training my guts out for 14 years, finally, my best leg showed up at the Olympics. I can't even begin to describe to you guys how good this race felt. It still feels good telling you about it now. The quarterfinal I raced, tactically perfect, used my speed and acceleration at exactly the right moment. I skated my way into second place, so I finished behind the American Apollo Ono. He's won it, he's through, I'm second, I'm through. 3rd place, that's Mark Gagnon from Canada. 4-time world champion. I haven't beaten that prick for 8 years. But I got him. He's out and I'm through to the semis, bloody stoked. In speed skating, you get about 25 minutes rest between each round, so the races are backed up. You've only got enough time to get your skates off, have a spin on the bicycle, try and get a bit of lactic acid out, sharpen your skates and then race again. I've sharpened my skates, I'm ready. I've got a few minutes, I'm sitting in the change rooms again. I don't know why. I'm waiting for the draw to come out to see who I'm racing in the semis. I started thinking back to 18, 20 months earlier, the 2.5 month block where I was wearing that thing on my head. I started to think about the goal I'd set back then. Who remembers what the goal was? That's it. And
And this is the wrong time to be thinking about it, isn't it? I couldn't help it. The quarterfinal, where I've just beaten Mark Gagnon, that goal is done. Sitting there in that change room, that feeling of personal satisfaction that washed through my body, that's the highlight of my life. Gold medal's got nothing to do with it. Would I be sitting here talking to you guys without the gold medal? Huh? And from here, I think I was able to use a bit of experience and judgment. They're good words, aren't they? Anyone tell me how do most Aussies learn experience and judgment?
Hard work.
The hard way, that's it. We've got to fuck it up a couple of times first, haven't we? That's not the easiest way to get it. The easiest way is to listen and learn from people around you that do it better and not make the same mistakes. Will we do it? We're too stubborn, aren't we? It took me 4 Olympic Games and a broken neck to figure that shit out. Got there eventually though, and I'm still there. Lucky. Draw comes out for the semis. I got 5 skaters in it. One guy's been advanced due to disqualification. I'm looking at the other names and I'm thinking, this is not getting any easier. I don't think I can beat any of these blokes. I had a chat with my coach, little Chinese lady. Her name's Anne Zhang. She agreed with me. We decided that on percentage, my best chance of getting into the final was to get on the ice in the semi and stay out of the way. Hope there's a mistake, I might sneak in. Came down to the final lap in the semi, I'm still skating 5th. I'm right behind the other 4 and I get a flash go through my brain. This could be the biggest mistake of your life. I still had a little bit of petrol. I didn't move at the start when the pace is slow. Now we're too quick. I haven't got enough to get the outside of 4 of them. I should have moved. If I did, I might have had enough to hold them off. Maybe. Last corner, 3 of the 4 skaters in front of me, they all got tangled up trying to finish first and second. They all fell over. Just like I knew they would. So I got second in the semi. The guy who won it, he got disqualified for causing the pile up. So guess who won the semi-final? 4 races in an hour and a half. I'm the oldest skater, not just in the final, in the whole Olympic field. And because I've got some experience and judgment, I know that I don't have the lactic acid tolerance to back up 4 times in an hour and a half anymore. Bring me back the next day and I'm in with a shot. That's not how the sport works. I know it. My coach knows it. So there's no reason to change tactics for the final.
That's Apollo Mano, the American pre-race favourite. He's on the RVC boots, don't forget.
There he is, the hometown favourite, the hot favourite. The man 16,000 people have come expecting to see take away the gold in the men's 1,000. This is regular Apollo Mano wants to be, regular expected to be. Let's see if he can light the fireworks up and take on the gold medal.
Zhou Zhongli from China, 3-time Olympic silver medalist before this race. I can guarantee he's not interested in finishing second anymore.
Jia Jun-Lee will be in 4th position.
Han-Soo Han from South Korea, 16 years old. He's also known as Harry Potter. Matthew Turkov from Canada.
China in 4th. And Stephen Bradbury, that man right there, skating for his place in Australian sporting immortality. A huge ball as Bradbury gets introduced. Bronze Australian's best at the Winter Games.
Commentators talking about the bronze medal that you guys are having a look at here today. Hopefully it's still here.
Playing bronze in 1994 Lillehammer. Korsali Stegel bronze in the slalom at Nagano.
Oh, well, that's a lot to make the final. I'm really excited to be out there on the ice.
Already, the worst he can finish is 5th in the final of the men's.
Commentators confident.
This guy's magic.
Spoke to the coach again. We concluded that none of the other 4 skaters were interested in finishing second. They all wanted gold. And that meant a good chance of another crash and a good chance of a bronze medal for them.
of just 4 Australians to contest 4 Olympic Winter Games into the A final. 5 people in this final. Gold, silver and bronze. Bradbury closest to the fence. 5th position for the start.
One 1,000 metres, 9 laps for the kilometre, top speed 54 kilometres an hour.
Ono, Canadians up back third, that's Turcott. Ono pushing up now. There will be a lot of jockeys for position here. This is extremely important not to waste too much energy bumping and fighting the other skaters. Apollo looks like he's going to settle back in a 4th position. Does not want to burn too much energy.
On the inside, the yellow and blue, the young Reed is the front. Speed's been up.
Sitting with Bradbury sitting in the back. Bradbury can sit on Apollo's lead. See if he goes with Apollo here on the outside. Nice stops the wicket. Look at Ono. Finds the right. Skates to the 2nd position. Sitting on the tail of the line. A bit of contact there. Less than 4 laps remaining. Stephen Bradbury still back and forth. But this race is by no means over. It's the Korean arm first. Ono stays in 2nd position. The Chinese competitor lead 3rd.
Apollo moves on the outside. That's an incredible pass. He takes the lead. On the inside, moving from 3rd to 2nd to Chinese.
It's going to be very hard to pass Apollo on once this guy gets to the lead. He's almost impossible to pass. Skates a great track, both the corners tight. But the Chinese skater on the outside. Oh, and a lot of contact. Oh, ball down. Bradbury is going to come through and win gold. Stephen Bradbury, the 28-year-old from Brisbane, has he done it?
Listen to the commentators here.
What a great race there for Stephen. Absolutely great strategies, just sitting in the back, waiting for things to happen, and quite possibly gold medal. Does Australia have its first Olympic Winter Games gold medal? 1936, our first Winters, 2 bronze medals. Stephen Bradbury, has he won gold? I have to think he does, Basil.
What's the Chinese skater in 2nd position, moving on the outside, which is left arm.
Going out of his lane, sticking out his right arm. I have to think a disqualification there for Apollo Ono, which will be a huge surprise. Korean
Commentator doesn't see it, hard one to see. Chinese skater does get disqualified.
Canadian. Ono also going down, and Bradbury coming to the gold medal. Watch it, watch it. Stephen Bradbury there.
Watch the left arm of the Chinese goes for his knee, doesn't get it, the American fights him off. Chinese goes to him first.
I have to think Apollo Ono is going to be disqualified. And he's also trying to impede the Koreans' progress there on the inside. And it's a roller derby from there on, and skidders all over the place. And Bradbury quietly walking into the gold medal.
Thanks, guys. I've had people tell me that race is the most Australian thing they've ever seen. Mum and Dad were there. They had seats 4 rows from the top, 16,500 seat stadium. All these guys fell over on the last corner. Everybody in the crowd stood up in front of them. They didn't see what happened. Mum said, "What just happened?" Dad said, "As only he can." Buggered if I know, but I think he just won. And for me, it was incredibly special to share in all that with my parents. They'd been the biggest part of my support team ever since I'd started. And there's no way that I would have been there without that support. Today's competitive world, it's getting harder to be an expert at anything if you try to do it by yourself. Business or sport, you've got to have a team of people around you can rely on for support and for help. And I guarantee you that some of those people that could be in your support team that aren't, because you don't know each other yet, are in this room. Are Aussies any good at sharing with each other what we're good at? Most of us are crap. The last thing an Aussie wants to be called is a show-off. So we keep what we're good at hidden under our hats a little bit, don't we? Sometimes we let it out after a few beers. If you can help somebody here in this room, that's not showing off. That's karma. It'll come back. I had my coach, my physio, my parents, my equipment manager and my teammates. Take away any of those people and I don't get the gold. The question I've been asked the most since I got the gold is how did I feel when I crossed the line? Right after the race, I knew that'd be the first question. I can deal with that, that's all right. Felt pretty good. And I'm sitting in the change rooms. Same spot again. I got the medal ceremony in about 5 minutes. I don't know if I'm going. And then I got the media conference. I don't know if I'm going there either. But my brain's already there. My brain's into the second question at the media conference. And that's probably going to be, whole world's going to ask me if I think I deserve to win or not. There's even a television crew there from Pakistan at the Winter Olympics. At this point, I didn't even know if I was going onto the podium to accept the gold. Had a few minutes thinking in that change room. I thought to myself, I've been doing this for a while. 8 years earlier, I was number one in the world. I got taken out. 4 years earlier, I could have won it then too. Got sick. Now here I am. I'm 3 years past my best skating. In the semi-finals and the final, I've had 6 other skaters fall over in front of me. And now they want me to take a gold medal for it. I can't take a gold medal for that. But what I can take this gold medal for is the 14 years hard work in the lead up. That's what I can take it for. How I felt when I crossed the line, I didn't realise I'd said anything to myself. A couple of weeks later, I watched the tape back and read my own lips. Oh my fucking God. That's how I felt when I crossed the line. There you go, mate. I believe you if you take it to cash converters. Done some cool stuff since winning that. I got to carry the flag at the closing ceremony at the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. That is a proud day to be an Aussie. I had a brief stint on Dancing with the Stars. That's not such a proud day to be an Aussie. Not when one of the judges gives you a 3 out of 10 and you're the first one voted out anyway. I'm the only person here who can lick the back of his own head. I met Richard Branson, fully organised media event in Sydney. TV, newspapers, radio, room was packed. He presented me with a mobile phone that I made 3 calls on for 4 years. That was good. After that, he gave me a signed copy of his book. That was good too. Next, Richard Branson presented me with a Virgin Mobile cap. One of the richest men in the world presents you with a cap with his logo on it at a media conference. Probably figure. You put it on your head. I was new to all these cameras. I got flustered. I didn't know what to do. I looked at the hat, looked back at him. I had a pen too, so I signed it and gave it back to him. Some people have told me that's the most Australian thing they've ever heard. As it turns out, I got some signed Richard Branson inspired hats of my own now. If you want a last man or a last woman standing cap, come and see me outside during the lunch break and I'll sell you one. Yeah, they're going to be popular, aren't they? My marketing guy bought 1,000 of them and no fucker buys them. Who's heard of the saying, he's done a Bradbury? Yeah? They put that into the Macquarie Dictionary in 2014. Use it if you want. A guy named Ian Godbold, he wrote a book, it's called Could You Do a Bradbury in Sales and Marketing? I'm not going to go through all the stuff he outlines in his book with you guys. But if you're showing up every day, you're on positive, you're doing the 1%ers, you're building your team, expanding your team of experts around you. You're doing that, you don't know what's going to happen. Cam, tell me who's the most famous story of a builder going bankrupt? What's the name of the company?
Oh, that would be HIH.
HIH. Yeah, I've heard of that one too. Suddenly disaster strikes, HIH goes bankrupt, you guys see it come and launch a promotional campaign and pitch all their customers while they're on the floor, skate past the floor bodies, not all going to go and do a Bradbury. Doesn't really apply that well in that context, but I tried. I'm hoping there's a couple of things from my presentation you guys might take with you. Maybe this. The top part up there, you don't have to write that down either. There's my marketing guy bought 1,000 t-shirts as well. It says never give up on the front. They're guaranteed to get you out of bed for that early morning jog. They'll be for sale out there in the lunch break too, along with the hats. I've got some brochures too. Me and a few of my mates bought a little hotel in Hakuba in Japan. You want to go skiing or snowboarding in the best powder snow in the world? Take a brochure. Check out our website, japanpowder.com. Pretty long flight to Japan. Might need a book to read on the way. Some signed copies of my book, Last Man Standing, a lot of inspiration in there. You or someone you know can use some of that, or you want me to get a little bit of your Christmas shopping out of the way, come and see me outside in the lunch break, get a book too. I've got business cards if you need one of those. I'd like to thank Kurt for having me along here this afternoon. I'll be hanging around for a while afterwards. You want to get a photo with the gold medal? I don't have to be in it. Sometimes people say to me, geez, you're lucky, mate. My coach doesn't say that. You've got to have a coach. Everyone in sport has a coach, don't they? Except for Kyrgios and Tomic. Don't they fucking need one? In business, you need a coach too. You need a mentor. Someone that can advise you. It's not all about you making all the decisions. The fact that you're here, you're in a step in the right direction. My coach doesn't tell me that I was lucky. She tells me that I gave my heart, my youth and almost my life pursuing that golden dream. And it would never have come true if I wasn't the last man standing. I think you guys would agree, winning that gold is more than just luck. You show up every day for a long time and you work hard and you start to make your own. After the race I was quoted, wasn't as strong as the others. Consider myself the luckiest man. God smiles on you some days. This is my day. Well, ladies and gents, as I said earlier, I'm not really a religious man, but I think whoever you got is smiles on us all one day and maybe tomorrow. Your day. Keep on trying. Don't give up. Eventually, you too can be the last one standing.